Welcome to the Tax Playbook. I'm Trenda Hackett, your web CPA with the Web CPA Virtual Tax Clinic. I thank you so much for joining me in this session on today. We're going to have a little fun. I'm presenting a little challenge that's going to help us to have a little fun and learn something along the way. But before we get into the challenge on today that I'm going to share and a winner will be announced, before we get into that, it is so important that you subscribe to this channel, that you share this video, that you comment on this video, and that you like this video. Again, thank you so much for joining me on today in the Tax Playbook, where I'm giving you tips and strategies to win in your taxes or even in your finances. So what I've been talking about in these last videos, I'm doing a series on student loan canceled. This video is the 6th video in a 7-part series, and looks like it may go past the 7th part. But what I wanted to do was pause in here to see if there was a way we could have a little fun. I can give something away, and then we all can learn something on the way and get something out of it. So before I get into the challenge, I want you to, again, subscribe to this channel. So I've been talking about public service loan forgiveness for your student loans, and a key date I want you to remember is October 31st, 2022. That's right. That is the deadline that you can get credit for past employment for public service. You have to have that form submitted and by October 31st. And here's one thing I want you to remember. Don't wait until October 29th to say, let me fill this form out and upload it. No, you need to allow time, because there's a part of that form you have to complete, and there's another part that your employer, your present or past employer, will need to complete and sign to certify your employment so that you can get credit on your student loans for this past time or even present time in public service. So let's get to our challenge on today. So the challenge that we're going to have, and this challenge will last until Tuesday, September the 13th by noon. So make sure you hear everything that I'm saying so that you will meet the requirements for the challenge. I'm going to share with you what you will win and when we will announce the winner. If you pay attention to the screen, let's see what the challenge involves. It involves the student loan public service forgiveness. Number 1, you must be a subscriber to this YouTube channel, the Tax Playbook. You must be a subscriber, you must subscribe, or you must be a subscriber. Number 2, if you pay attention to the screen, I'm going to give you a set of facts or a scenario here later in this video, and you're going to have to read that scenario and those facts, number 1. And number 2, you're going to have to answer correctly 3 questions related to that scenario. Don't worry about it. I'm going to give you the questions and the scenario in this video. Here again, you have to answer those 3 questions correctly, and you must do that by commenting with your answers on this video on or before Tuesday, September the 13th by noon. Pay attention to that deadline. Here again, I'm going to share the questions and the scenario with you here in a minute. Now, you may be asking, what do I get for doing all of this? Why is this important to me? I'm so glad you asked. So, as I said before, I'm going to announce the winner. The winner will be announced on Friday, September the 16th. But you have until Tuesday, September the 13th, to post your answer as a comment to this video. So what will you win? You will get a one-on-one virtual live session with me. And I want you to think about these 4 E's. In this session, we're going to examine, We're going to explore, I'm going to explain, and we're going to execute. I want to repeat that. One-on-one session with me where we're going to examine. We're going to do a detailed, in-depth review of your student loan. We're going to analyze those student loans. We're going to explore all forgiveness options. You may qualify for public service forgiveness. You may qualify for this forgiveness that Biden just announced that I shared in video 5. You need to go back and check that. You may qualify for the automatic adjustments that I talked about in video 2. And one thing I want you to know, in order to get the answers to the challenge, you have to go back and watch videos 3 and 4, because that's where your answers are. Now, I said examine. Then we're going to explore. We're going to explore all of the forgiveness options that are relative to you in this one-on-one live virtual session. And then explain. I will answer your questions, explain anything that you any questions that you have, or explain your options to you as it relates to the student loan forgiveness. And then execute. Let's talk about execute. Execute means that we'll come up with a plan. I will help you execute it to the end. I will go the last mile with you in this session. But if you want to win this session, you have to comply with the rules of the challenge that I talked about on the previous screen. Now, you may say, well, what is the scenario? What are the facts? What are we doing? So if you pay attention to this next screen, I'm going to walk you through this scenario, and you can always go back to this video and pause it, and you'll see the scenario. So we're going to walk through the scenario, and then as I walk through the scenario, then I'm going to present the 3 questions on a separate slide that you will need to post your answers to, here again, by the deadline. The winner will be the first one to post. The first one to post on or before that Tuesday, September 13th deadline. But remember, don't you get knocked out of the competition or the challenge by not being subscribed to this channel. So let's look at the scenario. If you look on the screen, we have Joy. Joy. And this is just a scenario, an example scenario. So we have a fact pattern here for Joy. In the year 2005, Joy graduated college with her bachelor's degree. 2006, as you'll see here on the screen, she started paying on student loans. She had student loans while she went to college. And in 2006, she started her first job with the federal government. 2009, she had a little change. She said, you know what? I need these student loans to go into a 12-month forbearance. So in 2009, her student loans for the full 2009 were in a 12-month forbearance. 2010, she left the federal government and started a new full-time job with the state. And then she started back paying on her student loans. In 2013, she stopped working for the state and she started a part-time job with a department store. And also in 2013, her loans went back into a student loan, a 12-month student loan forbearance. So let's look at 2014. Joy went back to school to pursue her master's degree. Then in 2014, her student loans were in an in-school deferment. And also in 2014, she stopped working at the department store and she started a new full-time job teaching in public school. 2017, she finished her master's, she graduated, still teaching at the same school full-time. And her in-school deferment ends in 2017. 2018, her loans she requests to have her student loans go back into a 12-month student loan forbearance. And also in 2018, Joy started her own nonprofit community outreach ministry as a 501c3 organization where she was working at that ministry part-time. She also started a new position at the same school, but no longer in the classroom. Now she's the school counselor in 2018. So you see a lot happened for Joy in 2018. 2019, Joy was still full-time and employed full-time in the school system. And remember, she's still working part-time in her own 501c3. And in 2019, she started back paying on her student loans. And in 2020 up until present, Joy is still full-time in the school system as a counselor, and she's still working in her own ministry, her 501c3 ministry, community outreach ministry, part-time, but she's also under a COVID-19 student loan forbearance. Now, those are the facts that you will be reading and that you will be considering when you answer the questions to help you to win the challenge. So you may be asking, what are the questions? Again, I'm so glad you all asked amazing questions. So if you'll pay attention to the screen, the 3 questions are on the screen. So let's look at them. The first question that you need to answer is, how many years of public service can Joy get credit for from October 2nd, 2007 up until present? So go back to the facts, go back to the scenario, and you answer the question with the amount of years. How many years can she get credit for time in public service? And you remember, to answer these questions, I told you, you're going to have to really go back and watch video 3. And you also need to watch video 4. Question number 2. How many of the public service student loan forgiveness employer certification forms will Joy have to complete? So you'll answer that with the number. How many of these forms that she's going to have to complete? And here again, I want to remind you that your answer to these questions, to all 3 of the questions, should be in a comment on this video. But remember, to get the answers, you need to go back to videos 3 and videos 4. And the third question is to list 2 ways that Joy can locate the employer identification number, the EIN number, for her employers. So you'll list 2 ways that she can find that number, because when you go back and look at video 3 and 4, you'll hear me talking about there's a way that you can find out if your employer qualifies, but you'll need the employer identification number, and you go to the studentaid.gov website and put that in. Now, I know I've shared quite a bit in this video, so make sure you go back, because I want you to be in a position, number 1, to learn, number 2, to win. And I'm looking forward to sitting down with the winner and navigating you through your student loans. Now, here's the other thing about the winner. The winner will be announced on September the 16th. I'll come back on this channel and announce the winner. But you have to understand, you will need to schedule and have completed your session by October 1st, 2022. And the reason I am sticking to that, because if you qualify for public service loan forgiveness and you don't get all your paperwork done, certified, and uploaded by October the 31st, then everything that I'm sharing is a moot point, because after October 31st, everything goes back to the normal way that you don't get credit for past time in public service. Now, you'll see in some of those videos where I talk about repayment, but we'll talk about repayments later. But the goal here is for you to get credit for past time in public service, getting you closer to those 120 months or those 10 years in public service, to where you can have your student loan forgiven. All right, that's all I'm going to share with you today. Be sure to watch this video, subscribe to this channel, share this video, and comment on this video with the answers to the question, so you can win the challenge, which is a one-on-one session with me, where we will look at you, we will examine your student loans in detail. We will explore options, forgiveness options related to you based on your situation. I will explain whatever it is that you don't understand. And most of all, I will help you execute We will get that paperwork done, completed, and submitted, and we will execute, and you will do your part, and then all you have to do is wait on the answer. Have an amazing day. Looking forward to seeing your responses to the challenge.